Come here. Get off.
Hey y'all, so welcome to this week's episode of The Turn On. Today we are reading Free to Love You by A.S. Wilson. It was published in 2021, so sit back, relax, get your wine, your weed, and whatever you need, and enjoy.
Free to Love You by A.S. Wilson. I pulled my dress up over my head and tugged my boots off as he watched hungrily. I didn't know if it was the slight chill in the air or the heat in his glance that caused a shiver to race up my spine, but I shook with the vibrations, causing his eyes to dip down to my breasts. I could practically feel his lips wrapped around my nipples, tugging and nipping until I reached satisfaction. But he didn't move. "Lights on?" he asked. I nodded, and he came to me, pulling me into his arms. His skin was hot and his fingers insistent as he caressed my sides and ran his tongue along my lips. My mouth was open and panting, but he didn't go inside. Instead, he licked and nipped at my lips, teasing me until I began to grind my hips against his erection. As soon as I did that, he plunged inside my mouth, his tongue reaching deep inside to every crevice. My head fell back as he explored me mercilessly. The laps of his tongue against mine were about to bring the dam down. I felt it falling, but was helpless to stop it. My fingers burrowed into his biceps as I held on as best I could, and he responded with a guttural grunt that reverberated through me. Just when I thought I couldn't take any more, he started to back me up against the bed. I didn't even look back as I fell. My eyes were focused solely on him as a teasing smile graced his lips, and he reached down to pull his boxers off. When he stood and I saw everything the brother was bringing, I was filled with a mixture of nervousness and eagerness. Could I? Would I? Yes, bitch, you shall. I lifted my hips up from the bed and began to pull my panties off when he said, "No, I got it." I withdrew my hands and lifted my legs as he tugged my dark pink panties off and tossed them aside. I allowed my legs to part as he leaned down over me and he growled in my ear, "You smell amazing," before sinking his teeth into my neck. I nearly came off of the bed as pleasure shot through my body. With every nip of his teeth, I felt juices flowing out of me. I needed him in a bad way, and I hoped he wasn't planning on taking his time anymore. I felt his hand circling my back as he unsnapped my bra, and I leaned up to allow him to pull the bra off. His eyes glowed as he stared down at my breast, but the moment only lasted for a short time, because before I knew it, he was sucking my nipples hard. I cradled the back of his head and held on as he pulled shudders out of me. Whenever his lips closed down on my nipples, sparks cascaded from my breast all the way down to my center. I pulled him down on top of me with my legs and could feel his dick pulsing against me. But I needed more. A lot more. "I'm ready," I panted. He raised his head and smiled down at me. "I know," he said before he dipped back down to claim the other breast. I quivered underneath him as he sucked and nipped, my legs rising higher over his hips. "I want to taste you," he said, as he rose up above me and began to slide down my body. "I don't like that," I said, snapping my legs closed. My hands flipped to cover my breast as I looked down at him. He cocked his head to the side. "For real?" he asked. "For real. I ain't doing nothing you're not comfortable with, for real. But I would like to taste you. Can I?" The way he asked, I felt I could deny him nothing, but I didn't want to mess up this moment, this first night with him. My ex had always said he didn't do that. The one time he told me he was going to give me what I wanted, he'd given it about 2 licks before he came up with a look of accomplishment on his face. I wouldn't experience that with Rock. As I pondered it, he began licking along the insides of my thighs. The tip of his hot, wet tongue digging into my flesh was driving me insane. As he gripped my thighs with his hands, he looked higher and higher, coming closer to my pussy with every stroke. When he reached my folds, he stopped and looked up. "Can I?" he repeated patiently. "Yes," I said without hesitation. His tongue slipped between my folds and I gasped as he swirled his tongue around my clit. My fingers curled into the sheets as my entire body tensed. I needed more. When he began flicking his tongue over my clit, my hips rose and I cried out uncontrollably. I never felt anything as intense as that. He pushed my hips down, calmly, and pulled my thighs farther apart. When he dipped back down and began to suck on my clit, pleasure surged through me and my thighs clenched around his head. I came so hard I could have sworn I saw stars and drifted back down from the sky to his bed when it was over. As I came back to, I realized his head was still buried between my legs. I felt the flat of his tongue massaging my folds and the heat started spreading inside of me again. Stop. I need you inside me. Now, please, I begged. My fingertips spread across his head as he lifted it up and crawled on top of me. When he settled at the apex of my legs, he gazed down at me and said, "You're everything to me. You know that, right?" "Yes," I said, right before he entered me. A gasp escaped my lips as he pushed past my slick entrance. I could feel my walls stretching to accommodate him as he slid deeper inside of me. Clenching my thighs, I clasped him tightly and he whispered, "It's okay." My legs relaxed around him as he began to roll his hips. The rhythm of his movement had me grasping at his back as he stroked me. The discomfort was gone, replaced with white-hot shots of pleasure. With each stroke, I felt myself coming closer and closer to release. And then he thrusted deeper, deeper than I'd ever thought anyone could go, and I exploded all over him. My legs shook and I cried out as I creamed all over his dick, but he didn't stop. He slowed just a bit and began to slide all the way out before plunging back inside me. I was whimpering, gripping his shoulders, but he was merciless as he pulled another orgasm out of me and left me howling on the sheets. That was when he dropped his head down next to mine, dug his fingers into my hips, and growled as he sank his full length inside of me. "Shit!" I huffed as he began to thrust harder and faster. My eyes widened as I felt coils of tension building at my core again. No fucking way. His breathing grew harsh as he pumped inside of me, and then the dam broke, and both of us went over the edge at the same time with no bottom in sight. We just let it all go.
Okay, y'all, so welcome back. Thank you so much, Kenrya, for that reading. So a little rundown on the story. There's this guy, Rock. He was incarcerated for a crime he didn't commit. He gets out of jail. His sister and brother-in-law are pretty much his only family once he gets out of jail. And they encourage him to go to like this re-entry program. And he meets Leah and hijinks ensue. ... Right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, this one was a good one. I liked it because it dealt with an issue that like a lot of people deal with, which is returning citizens, re-entering citizens. I don't know the correct language. I think it's returning citizens. And this guy did not do the crime that he was committed. It's the the book opens, the prologue. Is that the prologue? The opening, the front, the beginning? Prologue is first, epilogue is second,
guess.
right? Last, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the prologue is Rock getting pretty much railroaded. He was a kid and he ended up getting convicted for a crime he didn't commit, which was so triggering in the beginning because that's a story done a million times over. It's also, even if somebody did commit a crime, like Black folks.
Exactly. I'm like, either way, we're over policed, we're over incarcerated, we're over sentenced, all of those things.
Exactly. So it was very triggering. And for that reason, initially I was like, I don't know. But as it went on, it got really, not that it wasn't good, but as it went on, it definitely made me feel a little bit better. But also, this is something that that Black people have to deal with. Mm-hmm. So might as well,
and it's
make a story.
Important for us to tell everybody's stories, right? Lift up everybody's stories. And this, I don't know too many Black folks who either who have been in this situation or has someone really close to them who's been in this situation. I for damn sure do.
Which is so fucked up. Were you with? Oh, you weren't with me. I was talking to a girlfriend about doing 23andMe, and I was like, she was like, I ain't doing that shit because I got family. Niggas going to jail.
That's literally why I won't do it. Yeah, because they use that they can use that legally, that DNA data, in order to solve crimes, and it's too many rankings out there that could get caught the fuck up. So I'm good.
I totally agree. Like,
I don't trust that shit.
No, we're good. I'll pass. No, thank you.
Yeah. In addition, I would love to know where we came from, but not in any way that could put my family in danger.
Also, in addition to that, I'm not trying to find any extra siblings.
I mean, I know I don't have any extra siblings, but I also know I got a whole bunch of extra aunts and uncles and cousins, and my family is huge to begin with. So
it's just
we found another 15 or so even before DNA was a thing.
That's your last name? Yeah.
It's a lot of us.
Also, I do not want to see a baby Erica walking down the street.
A little clown? You don't want no clown?
No. I like to believe that God broke the mold, but if I'm giving out the mold, then that's a different story. But I do want to do African ancestry to see where my peoples come from.
Well, and so that's the thing, right? Everybody's like, with African ancestry, one, they say that they destroyed a sample. Okay, anybody can say that. But also, you can do it anonymously. Yes. So they don't require you to put your actual factual biographical information in. So you could find out where you came from without doing that. And so that's what I've been thinking about, because I want to know.
Yeah. And also, like, I would much rather know, like, we can be traced back here as opposed to you from Africa. Duh.
Like, no shit.
Duh.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Okay. Leah. She is the woman that Rock meets at the re-entering center. And she's this chick. She came from a pretty well-to-do family. Her dad was a judge. And she has a really difficult relationship with her father. Primarily because she's like, look, you are responsible for locking up Black and brown folks, which you are the man. You're a part of being the man. Mm-hmm. And that causes a really rough relationship between the two of them. And also, was she still on her parents' dime? She wasn't still on her parents' dime, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but they,
she was making her
growing
own
up, being raised by them afforded her certain privileges.
Privileges.
That was, that was clear. Not everybody had. I mean, even down to her best friend, Shonda.
Her homegirl, yeah.
Which brings me to ask you the question, Killa.
What was that?
It was a gnat. Like, I have like all these gnats in my house. It's so icky. Ugh.
Oh no! Do you have like a new plant or some potatoes somewhere that you forgot about? That happened to me once. It was disgusting. Nigga, I once left some potatoes in a cabinet when I was living in New York and came home one day and I guess they hit the fucking tipping point. Ugh,
you are lucky.
I ain't never seen nothing so fucking
gross. You were lucky that it wasn't like this was New York. You lucky some dude didn't come out like, "Hey, I'm the potato fairy."
Exactly. Oh my God, it was disgusting.
Okay, so this brings me to ask, do you have any family members or close friends? I mean, maybe not close friends, because I know you would cut a motherfucker off. That you had to deal with, like, they held a position, job, did something that kind of had you like, I can't rock with you.
I mean, yeah, I used to date a fucking cop. Ugh.
Yeah. How did you divorce yourself?
The only reason, well, I mean, that's a very long story.
I mean, like, how did you separate? Not your being the Kenrya you are with what he did.
You know what it was? I think the only reason he got through my filter was because I'd known him for, I don't know, 10 years before he became a cop. Yeah. So, I knew who he was outside of that. He also did a lot of talking about how he felt. And, we don't all have to agree, but he felt like he could change the system from the inside. Like, that was his thing. He felt like, yes, I'm a cop, but there needs to be black cops too. And there need to be black cops who are not, fully bought into the system. And I can be one of those people and I can help to change things. That would not have been enough if he had been somebody who I just met. I would have been like, all right, whatever, nigga. But because I also knew him ahead of time, that was what allowed me to be able to deal with it. But I would never go that route again.
I mean, I'm conflicted. Because I definitely believe that, like, I'm all for defunding police, right? I'm all for changing the way in which policing and the way we keep rules.
You want to fuck up the prison industrial complex? You can come with me. I'm trying to fuck that shit up.
Yeah. Like, I am. However, and this is where I get a little Republican. Fix your face. I can't even see your camera, but fix your face.
I showed all my teeth.
Oh, okay. So I get a little Republican in the sense that I do think that this shit ain't changing overnight, and there needs to be some of us on the inside until the change happens.
Go ahead.
I mean, because I definitely am a fuck this, burn it down, start all over. Like, in no way, shape, or form am I anyone different. However, I also recognize that this some bullshit, ain't shit changing anytime soon, and we need some of us on the other side.
Here's the thing. Studies show that up until, I think the tipping point is like 50-something%, an increase of black officers on police forces does not actually decrease the chances of violent episodes, and in some cases actually increases it. So basically what the studies show that is unless you have a majority black police force, the violence actually escalates. Yeah.
It's fucked up all the way around. Like it's a really fucked up, funky ass system. I don't disagree with you there. And I mean, I think about like DC, which is, I don't think the current chief is black, but I don't even think the one before that was black. I know under Tony Williams, the police chief was a black guy, and okay,
right,
you know,
right.
Yeah, there's got to be a change. Okay, sorry, because it's like you know more about, like, you have researched, written about the prison industrial complex. So I'm kind of struggling through this and want you to kind of take the lead on.
I don't think you're struggling.
But I do, like, it's one of those situations where I see how fucked up it is. I know that it's fucked up, but I just cannot see any way out of it. You know, like, I think I love when we talk about, I was about to say nation building, dreaming. Freedom dreaming. Yeah. I think that's important because
it's the only way we get beyond this,
we
right?
have to be creative. I hate saying thinking out the box, but we got to think out the box. We got to fucking smash the box and think outside of the universe.
Burn that shit, piss on it, all of that. That box is fucked up.
I also just don't know
and dangerous.
How that's going to happen. You know, like how, you know, how do we?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, you know, fighting white supremacy, right? I wrote a whole ass book about that, which includes talking about the prison industrial complex. And so much of it comes down to being able to put ourselves in a place where we are not reacting to what is happening, but instead working toward transformative justice, right? So that means when you really break it down into pieces, not just reacting, which is what we do when we talk about reform. When we talk about body cameras, which studies have shown do not actually decrease instances of violence, right? It means moving beyond incremental changes, which studies are showing us do not change anything and do not save any Black or brown or indigenous lives. They just don't. Because it gives people a false sense of security and makes you think that you're doing something. But what it does mean is looking toward justice that is not just restorative. And, restorative is, I think, a term that people use, which is like putting things right, restoring the situation back to the way it was before the crime happened. So, for example, having a killer exactly pay restitution. But the reality is that doesn't do anything to change the circumstances that created this over policing, that created this death, that created all these things that lead up to someone being put in prison or leading up to someone being killed by police. So when we talk about transformative justice, we're talking about literally transforming the systems and the things that put people in the crosshairs of this system. So that's stuff like when we talk about defunding police, we're not saying, hey, just take their money away. We're saying take that fucking money away and put it into systems that actually keep people from running into the law or foul of the law to begin with. Give people beyond adequate. We all deserve to actually be able to live in comfortable, safe places, right? Give people a place to live. Give people a way to earn money. Exactly. That is actually allowing them to take care of themselves so they don't have to take advantage of illegitimate earning opportunities because they don't have any other way to feed themselves and their families. And fuck this system if it keeps you from being able to feed yourself, right? It means having a system of mental care health workers that can help folks when they're in crisis situation, as opposed to sending out police officers who get, in a lot of jurisdictions, no more than 8 fucking hours of training and de-escalation in those types of situations. Why are we sending them when we have people who are trained?
Eyebrow lady needs more training than that. But okay,
Exactly. So fundamentally, not just moving the money, but shifting to think about the fact that we need to be able to prevent these situations before they happen, and that we can. We can. And I know it can feel overwhelming when we talk about dismantling a system, but if you break it down into the little parts and think of it in terms of transforming the situation so that we can take care of people, take care of ourselves. That's why, we talk about we care for ourselves. We are the ones who are, who we've been waiting for, as opposed to waiting on this system to do it for us. Those are the ways that we keep folks from being pushed into that pipeline. But it's fucked up and it's hard.
And I guess my pessimism isn't around coming up with systems, because I think that's like shit. That's the easy part, like figuring out ways to get around, keeping people out of police interactions and changing. To me, that's the easy part, because everybody got some good ideas, and we can run through a million ideas that don't work and still have great ideas. I just feel like the system is so ingrained and tightly held by people with money, that it's hard chipping away at the wall to even get to the point where we can then do our freedom dream.
Yeah. What I remember in those moments is that not that long ago, we couldn't vote, right? Not that long ago, we were owned by, really?
Yeah, but
there's been monumental change, and it doesn't mean that it's easy. It doesn't mean that folks don't die along the way. It doesn't mean, that it doesn't require a complete shift, and it often requires some really awful things to happen before those things before we get there. But when I am feeling hopeless, I think back about how far we've come. And to me, like, freedom dreaming is the thing that gives me hope. It lets me think beyond the barriers of this shitty place that we are right now, and not be reactionary and not be confined by the what ifs or the yes buts or the yes ands of it. And think of just a completely new future for us. I think that there are people that would have us think that Black people don't exist in the future. Right?
Nigga, we gonna stay. We gonna be here.
Well, and like Afrofuturism is not a reaction to that, right? We don't want to be reactionary, but is a foil to that, and reminds us that we will still be here. We have always been here. We are resilient as fuck. We figure it out, and I just have to hope. If I didn't hold on to the hope that we could figure it out, I'd be over there, on the floor in the corner, balled up.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like that's what keeps all of us going, Either that or just willfully not thinking about it, just blocking it out your brain.
Which a lot of folks do.
Yeah, and you can't judge them for that, because it's like you do what you got to do in order to save
it's fucking survival.
Yeah, in order to keep moving, because it's easy to break down thinking that things, thinking that things are this way and won't change.
I talk about all the time when I give talks how sometimes waking up is our form of resistance on some days.
Nap Ministry. Shout out to Nap Ministry. I love them. So this also, when Rock got released, it also reminded me of how when people get released from jail, they are pretty much just out there with nothing, I remember I was at brunch one day. We were sitting outside having brunch. I was with one of my girlfriends, and this Black man, he's walking down the street, and you could just tell he was just happy, like just sniffing the roses, tasting the free air, just, this is good. And so he walks past us, hey ladies, we're like, hey, just, whatever you want, I want some, you can tell he's just happy. So then he stopped, he was like, I'm trying to get to DuPont Circle or something like that. He was trying to get someplace where he could pick up a bus, because he was like, I live in Rockville, or I'm trying to get to Rockville. He was like, I just got out of jail. I just spent 11 years out of jail, and They just dropped me off. They put me on a Greyhound. And I just got to Union Station. I've been walking from Union Station. And I was just like, fuck. I never have cash on me. We emptied our pockets. We gave that man like $35, $40. He was like, oh, I can take the Mark home or wherever he was trying, And I say that not because I'm trying to be like, I give to people.
Look at me.
But it's just one of those things like, damn, like y'all can't even like make sure that person gets to where they need to go, like.
No, because they don't give a fuck.
So, and then you wonder like why you show back up there. Come on.
Nothing in the system is set up for people to actually thrive or survive, let alone fucking thrive.
Yeah. Which is, again, going back to your statement about, sometimes just waking up is an act of resistance. Like being here, breathing, smelling, smiling is an act of resistance.
Yeah, there are those who wish us dead.
Yeah.
We still here.
I still here. Okay, Rock was really lucky to have his sister and brother-in-law both there to meet him. And his first day out meal was a steak.
Yeah. He's mad.
What would be your first day out meal?
Ooh. Okay, I'm not going to want to cook nothing because I'm like, I kind of want some salmon croquettes and some rice and some.
Yeah.
I'm my daddy's child. Probably Red Lobster.
Red Lobster.
Some fucking Waltz fried.
Our homegirl went to New York last weekend and she was like, did you know there's a huge Red Lobster in Times Square?
Times
I was
Square.
like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Duh.
That's where we went after I got married.
That is a celebratory spot. And that's also where we went after you got your master's degree.
After sure
the
did.
Red Lobster. Yeah.
Do you know that my kid, that's what she had for her birthday?
She is classy and it is.
That's her first time asking for it and I felt so proud.
I'm doing so.
I was like, I'm raising her up right.
Train a child and ye shall not depart. Train up a child and ye shall not. Or whatever. Anyway, you got what I'm saying.
In the way that you want to see him to go or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. My first day out meal. I know this is simple.
I feel like I know. Go ahead.
Popeyes.
I knew it was chicken, but I thought you was going to get them wings that you always get after you come out of surgery.
America's best.
Yes.
I am consistent. It would be Popeyes. It would be a surf and turf meal with some wings and some popcorn shrimp with hot sauce, Mardi Gras mustard, a biscuit, red beans and rice, coleslaw, and a strawberry soda.
Damn. You're really.
And it's gotta be hot. I mean, I'd like do a tour of other foods, but like it would definitely be Popeyes.
But that's the first one. That's in the car on the way
exactly.
home.
Like because some things like I wanted people like when I eat, I have to like eat. Like I don't like eating in the car on the way home because like I don't even like I.
That's good. You're supposed to be more mindful about your meals, right?
Yeah, I just like I need things perfect. I just started ordering fast food and bringing it home to eat because I like my French fries super hot, but they still have to be crispy.
So do you usually like eat at the restaurants like pre-COVID?
Like I don't eat if I'm driving. And, like it's like we're driving somewhere and I'm the one driving. We stop somewhere to pick up some food. I don't get fries. I get something that I can eat quickly because.
So you rather just not get them at all?
But now, a bitch got an air fryer and baby.
Yo, fries warm up so
in the air fryer.
well in the air fryer.
Girl, I'm like, yes. let's Uber Eats something with some French fries, because I know no matter how they arrive, I'm gonna get
They're
them
gonna be
bitches back.
good. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, and Popeyes I like because the French fries are good, but I'm not getting French fries when I go there. So even when I get home, they're perfect.
Oh, their fries are good. Now, I stopped getting the biscuits, though. They just turn into hockey pucks. If you don't eat them the moment that you get them,
You gotta drown them in honey or grape jelly.
I don't put either of those things.
And did you
on my
know
biscuits.
at Popeyes, I don't even think it's honey. I think it's honey sauce. They can't. I don't think technically.
That's just probably sugar, water, and orange.
Yeah, I don't even think they can call it,
Yeah, I've never had it.
So, well, you're not missing anything. Your guts are probably thanking you. So Leah works she's like, I don't want to like call her a stereotypical little rich girl, but she's a stereotypical little rich girl. She works for this little the reentry place nonprofit. She's in charge of working with reentering citizens. I'm not sure. I mean, I think she does genuinely enjoy what she's doing, but I think also
I don't think it makes her a stereotypical. I think a lot of people who have privilege are not interested in doing shit with other people. No?
yeah, you're right. You're right. Because my black ass ain't.
But she is the girl who...
My black ass ain't privileged. And I'm like, fuck that. I ain't doing that shit. My fight is in a different way. Let's say that.
And that's okay. We all have our ways that we fight.
Yeah, so she works at the reentry program. And, this wasn't even in my notes, and so I might fuck this all up. But if I'm not mistaken, her work situation is a little weird, wherein she like wants to do more, but can't really or something. And so her boss gave her an extra something to do. Hence,
I think she feels like she's trying to prove herself. Okay. And so she created this, she's working on creating a new curriculum, which is she's basically going to use Rock as like, not the guinea pig, but the pilot program, basically. She's piloting the program with him.
I ain't one of them niggas at work. Was I ever? That like feel...
But starting new stuff?
Yeah, that like feels like I need to prove myself. So I'll start something in order to, like just... I've
started things, but not because I wanted to prove myself, but because I could and I wanted to.
But you've also worked in a environment where it was more like altruistic. It came from, like there was a... Did I use the right word?
At least ostensibly, but not always. Nonprofits ain't always what you think they are.
No. There's one of these, like, I think I have it saved on my phone for, like, poop time reading. But there was this article about how, like, nonprofits essentially uphold, like, poverty and all that shit,
A lot of them do, and white supremacy runs rampant in ways that you can think of and ways that you can't think of.
I mean, to me, the first thing that comes to mind is how nonprofits don't pay shit. So you end up with these, white kids that can, they're like, they're well-intentioned because they've done a lot of, a lot of mission programs in Honduras on their summer vacations, and so they feel like they need to do that as a 9 to 5.
They didn't have to work 2 jobs in the summer in order to be able to support themselves.
What'd you say?
Yeah. Because they didn't have to work 2 jobs in the summertime to be able to support themselves and get a head start on the school year.
They can afford to make $24,000 as a starting salary because they have additional help.
There's somebody paying their rent, and listen, that was Man, that was my whole last experience at NYU.
What do you mean?
I worked, because I was working full-time, supporting myself, going to work all day, going to school at night, doing 14-hour days. And the majority of my classmates didn't have jobs. Mm-hmm. They had apartments that their families were paying for them to live in. And their job was to go to grad school. Yeah. I'm like, that must be really nice.
Yeah.
I was tired
and
all the time.
And you want, and on one hand, we talked about this in the last episode. On one hand, you don't want your child to have to do that. I don't want you to have to work all these fucking jobs and all of that. But I also do want you to, appreciate and value this expensive ass education that I'm paying for, you know? Mm-hmm. I just read an article. We didn't got all off topic, but anyway, I just read an article about how congressional staffers are so poorly paid that there's this whole movement to y'all niggas out here paying congressional staffers damn near nothing, and this is Congress, which is another place where that shows up, y'all ain't paying nobody.
Unfortunately, that's not surprising.
At all. I also I've always found it kind of stupid how I understand how people are I don't want 80 cents of every dollar that I give to this organization to go towards overhead, right? But you also want to be able to pay people really well so that they can do, you want to be able to attract good talent. I know a million people that aren't that want to teach. It was I can't do that shit. Not out here, or want to, do whatever. But you pay them so little.
They can't afford it.
I can't afford to do that bullshit, especially with student loans, which I refuse to pay.
Do you still owe student loans?
Yeah, when I'm gonna die with them bitches. I've decided I'm gonna die with them bitches. I'm gonna defer them motherfuckers for as long as I can, and when I can't any longer, I will pay the absolute minimum. Because y'all shouldn't have gave me the fucking money.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this article. No, there was an Instagram post, and somebody was drop a heart if you paid your student loans. And I was okay. I guess I stepped in the wrong room. Let me back on out. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say maybe if I won a lottery, but if I won a lottery, fuck that, you really ain't getting money. God bless me with this. Y'all should have thought. Yeah, I'm so trifling.
Well, hopefully somebody will, get the fucking ovaries to get rid of them. But I don't see that happening. This administration ain't shit.
Yeah, that ain't. Okay. That will come right after they transform the prison system. Industrial prison. It's okay. Speaking about school, shout out to Leah. She went to Howard.
She did. Yeah.
But it was just actually, I think there was something else we read, or I read something else about somebody going to Howard, and I was just wow.
Just all up in there.
It has definitely become. I didn't even think about that. It has definitely become the
listener. She is wearing a Howard hoodie.
It's definitely become the ooh, she's bougie. So she went to Howard.
Yes,
which is hilarious.
It's true, and in some cases it is true. There's a lot of bougie bitches that went to Howard.
Y'all, fuck yeah. Some of what
we friends.
I was gonna say some of our friends, and I'd be like, bitch. Don't get too high on your hog, because I've got pictures. Exactly. But yeah, Howard has somewhat become that. It's so interesting because I don't think I would get into Howard if I was a student in the 2021s. Like you, maybe. Me?
Yeah, I don't. I would have got in, but I mean, I got in on a full scholarship, and I don't think that they give those out anymore.
I wouldn't have got in, and I had a full scholarship from someplace else.
But yeah, so yours was external, so you would have been fine. But mine came from the school,
have to give
and
me
I don't
a
think
seat in class, and that's the part that I'm talking about. Like these students are like freaking amazing, and I mean, and they're like people that are students that are like amazing. They're like, I didn't get it to Howard, I got it to MIT, and you're like, fuck, like, wow,
yeah.
which. I shouldn't even say MIT because why are we comparing our school to?
And why do we give a shit about white institutions? Not at all. But yeah.
Okay, so Leah's best friend Shonda. She married
Shonda.
Huh?
Yeah, Shonda.
So she was married. A few things. One, Shonda came from a very different background than Leah. She had to work and hustle, and Leah went to this bougie prep school. Shonda was there on a scholarship. Leah went to Howard. Shonda went to a state school or whatever. And then Shonda was married to a man. I don't think this is a spoiler, right?
It depends on how much you're going to say.
Okay, so Shonda, her best friend, is married. She's married to a man, but it's clear from the beginning that their marriage isn't a typical marriage, right? Like it's clear that it's like an arrangement. Like they are together for whatever reasons. And I'm not against that.
I figured you wouldn't be.
You know your bestie. Pew, pew, pew.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not against that. Again, a marriage is an agreement between two people.
You make it.
And if you make it
That's
so
right.
that we're here to support each other for this. I am too.
Then who the fuck is to say that? Yeah.
Because guess what?
I'm not mad at it
Their
at
marriage
all.
is probably healthier and more successful than others folks that think they together.
They don't have all their cards on the table. That's right.
Yeah, I definitely think
That's right.
that's I definitely was like, oh, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a lot of honesty, I think, that has to come with marrying for whatever reasons.
Other than the illusion
right?
of love, right? Because some
Right.
people marry like on this illusion of love when deep down they know it's a business arrangement. That's why I find that when swinging, I find that a lot of the couples there are like, they seem super healthy, right? Like, not saying that they are, but, just conversations.
Yeah, you only know what you can observe.
Conversations and interactions. It's super healthy because kind of like with, polyamorous relationships, we have to have communication. We have to have all our cards on the table if we're doing something so taboo. I use air quotes when I did so taboo. As having sex with other people or having outside relationships. I think that sometimes these unconventional relationships I have observed tend to look like they are more normal than regular old relationships. Because you don't have the...
Yeah, well, I don't know what normal is, but
Yes.
I think that healthy and unhealthy relationships can come in a whole bunch of different packages, and people who assume that there is something unhealthy about a relationship that involves multiple people or is open or whatever, it's nothing but them projecting their own shit on somebody else.
I realize we talk about concepts, and I feel like a lot of times we're on the same page about the concept. It's just my explanation is more the great value explanation, and yours is the more Wegmans explanation. There may be
like
metal
this?
shavings in it. There may be metal shavings in mine. It's just a little problematic. But you're gonna get the nutrients you need. You might get a little metal shavings. Whereas yours is like, it's well thought out. It's done well. So, just saying.
Lord. It's literally only because I use words for a living.
Nonetheless.
That's it.
Nonetheless. Look, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I don't feel a certain kind of way because, good. It takes all types, right? It takes all types. And
yes.
So,
Yes. This is why we're so great on this show together.
Because I am a great value palette and you are a white man's palette. Okay, so Shonda had a very different upbringing than Leah. And that made me think about being the poor kid. I think about like when I came to Howard, I definitely felt like the poor kid, right? And
same bitch.
Yeah,
wasn't even just feeling like it. I was.
Let's be real. Let's be clear. But I think that I was very blessed, and I think I would hope this was your experience, but I was very blessed. Once I formed those like really tight relationships, like once the, dust settled and the real relationships came, my friends that were better off financially than me, like made no problems making me not feel like the poor kid. Not saying they was out buying me Gucci bags, but I definitely had friends that were like, I don't know if it was them or their parents was like, take Erica along. And it wasn't even a handout. It was just more, it was a handout, but it did make me feel like, oh, poor little Erica, we're going to give you a graduation trip too. But I got one, So what was your experience in high school and in college?
Ain't nobody take me nowhere. For me, you know what it was interesting, right? I grew up in the suburbs and basically my father worked himself into the ground for us to live there so that I could go to a good school. But we ain't have shit. So, like, I would go to school and do whatever, and then I might come home. This happened. I remember I was bringing somebody. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, bringing somebody to my house.
Girl.
And I opened the door. Like, I never brought people home. I don't know what was going on that day.
Yeah, yesterday, but keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, and I opened the screen door and was met with that orange notice that said our electricity was off. And I had to turn around and put my back to the door and be like, you can't come over today.
Yeah.
And I walk in, everybody in the house sitting in the dark. Yeah. Who cared? It was just, whatever. The gas was on, so that meant we could cook because we had matches. Like,
yeah, girl. Like I am. Exactly. I call myself Midwest MacGyver for those exact reasons. I can make things happen.
You learn how to flush a toilet without having to flush a toilet. You learn how to take a bath without having all of these things. And so I think maybe I thought I hid it well, but I also very much experienced this thing where like my friends went on college tours and I didn't have any money. I couldn't, do any of that kind of stuff. Like a lot of things that my friends did, high school, college, all of that, I just didn't go. Even as a grown-up, like if folks was going out for dinner and drinks and I ain't have it that week, then I just didn't go. Because I'm never asking anybody to cover me. So I'm just not going.
Yeah. I had a similar situations, but I think particularly once we got to Howard, like we had one friend and her parents gave her a cruise for her graduation or something. And she was like, this is cute, but can't none of my friends go on a cruise. So they were like, okay, we'll pay for one of your friends to go. So I was a friend that got to go.
Wow.
And that was dope. Yeah. And I've had lots of situations where, and I think this is why I'm this way now, but like, you know, let's go to dinner. And I'm like, girl, I'm going to go home. They be like, bitch, bring your ass, we'll cover you. You know, because it was clear that my stomach was rumbling and I wanted to go to dinner. So I feel like I was very blessed to have people around me, and I definitely want my child to not be, you know, like not necessarily, you know, be going to Rome every class trip, but when a class goes to Rome, I would like you at least have the, you know, me be able to pay for you to go, you know? So yeah.
And getting jobs to be able to pay for a portion of it is good, you know?
Yeah, like, okay.
That kind of thing. I'm thinking like I went on the 8th grade trip to DC. So we must have saved up something for me to be able to go. And then I was working by that next year. So anything else that I did, I was, you know, paying for it out of my own pocket, working at the fucking library like a nerd.
No, not like a nerd, like a boss.
Nothing wrong with nerds. They my people.
They are your people. As you sit and stare at your little pop socket things that are made of, you know, little head things that your man buys you.
Oh,
your little nerd.
Yeah, I got Basquiat and Tyler Durden sitting right in front of me. Sure do.
Those things. That.
It's fine.
Yeah, I think we were lucky, and I want my kid to be able to do that. You know, like to be able to enjoy and not have to worry. And you know what I'm struggling with now as a parent, as a formerly poor kid, as a poor kid parent. I gotta figure, like, I read this book about how to like work with my kid around money and stuff, but because I never really got allowance, it's like, it's weird for me to even give him an allowance.
Yeah.
Like, he gets whatever he wants. I mean, not that whatever he wants, but you know, like if he's like, hey, I want to go to the store and can I have $5 to do whatever? Okay, fine. Or can you buy me this X, Y, and Z? All right, you know, but the concept of allowance has been like different for me. And, you know, as you see, he be out there cutting grass and stuff. And so I feel like I should, you know, like he's at the age where he needs allowance. But Lord, baby Jesus, I'm going to be so horrible at giving it because I'm going to forget that kind of thing.
You should work with, you're tying yours to stuff. So what we do, it's not an allowance, but I give, basically like my kid has to earn things based on behavior and like participation. So like during the school year, turning on her camera, you know, like we didn't have a number goal, but it was every week to aim to have it on more than she had it on the week before. And if she was able to do that, then she would get a gift, and it could be something that she asked for, which often would be like Roblox, or it could be something that I bought her. Like I bought her a stash of books and just hid them, and when she would, you know, knock it out of the park one week, then I would give her one of the books in the series that she's reading, or some art supplies, or something that I know that she wants, but she has to earn it. And it used to be that it was tied directly to, she has a chart on her wall that's like she could earn a certain amount of money every time she did a certain thing, and like we put that together with her therapist. So, you know, going to brush her teeth and brush and floss at night without me having to remind her would get her, 10 cents each time she did it. And so then we would tally at the end of the week, and we would make a whole big thing of it and write down how much she earned that week. And then I would put that money in her account, and she could then spend it on things herself. Yeah. So it's helping her to understand the value of $1 and all of that kind of stuff. And she just recently, like last week, had found some things on Five Below that she wanted to buy. So she gathered all her loose money that she got for her birthday and just random adults giving, not random, but various adults giving her money. And she brought it to me and asked me to put it in her account. And I was like, well, it's hard to get to an ATM because you're in a like a credit union, but I'll put it in my account. I'll PayPal you the money. Now you have it. And so that's what we did. And then she went online and found what she wanted and, you know, made a purchase and that kind of thing. So that's kind of how we're approaching earning money and spending money.
Speaking of gifts, did she like mine?
Yes, very much so. She was running around and she got back on her call with her people and was sharing it with them.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. It took forever. Like, I think they built it and like.
I think they drop shit.
Yeah, because it came from China.
Yeah.
It came from
China. That's absolutely what it is. Yeah, so they don't have to hold in the inventory.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's talk about what? Sex.
The sex.
Ridiculous. The sex. Okay, so this scene that we read, I think this was the first time they did it, right?
Yes.
So this was his first time in years having a woman. Which was that was a good scene. I definitely thought about you when he so horrible. When he was like, "Hey, let me licky licky," and she was like, "No thanks." That's all right.
I'd be bored.
Who am I to deny you? Like, I would be wrong keeping you from enjoying the things you do.
Yes. Right? I never turn it down. I just typically cut it short. Because it don't go nowhere for me.
You finished? You fine? Yeah. You good? All right, let's go. Let's turn up.
Yeah.
You like my hat? One of my breasties gave it to me.
You know what it's
Very
giving
auntie.
me? It's giving me auntie because it's leopard, and it's giving me Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Okay, so one, yes. Leopard is very auntie. I actually just got to the point where I'm comfortable wearing hats.
It's really cute on you. Like you gotta, because you got that little head.
Okay, so yeah. I mean,
no, that's a good thing.
The two things that I love, being an auntie and Frankie Beverly and Maze. Okay, bitch? Because I'm wearing this.
I mean, they go hand in hand.
My all-white outfit. And I actually have on some slides that remind me. Don't ask what I have on. Because I have on, like, my wrestling shirt. I mean, my wrestling one piece. And these shoes. Which are, like, very auntie slides.
Okay.
Don't judge me, bitch.
I'm not. Listen, I'm sitting here in one of my gorgeous gowns yet again because it's the most
I love that you refer to them as gorgeous gowns. Like, not a muumuu, not a caftan. No. It's a gorgeous gown.
It's a gorgeous gown. And that is the most that I am interested in putting on.
Okay. I love it. Okay, yeah. The sex was great. It was great. Yeah, I think that I just think she just didn't like it. It seemed like there was a problem, like an issue with it, right? Like it wasn't like I don't like it. It was like
like maybe she was in her head. Yeah. I mean, that's true. That is likely that is probably 99% of my problem. Yeah.
No, not at all. Okay. So. Leah had a relation. She had like a fucked up relationship in college, and she had to get out. And it was her homegirl that got her out, right? Am I remembering it correctly? And it was on some like, all right, bitch, I'm outside. Let's roll.
Yeah.
It was,
where did that remind you of?
It touched, like, it was a really quick part. Like, there wasn't a whole, but like, just I was just like, yes, besties for the motherfucking win. Because that's what besties do.
We've been
They
there.
be like, hey, the truck is empty.
I'm here.
Put what you can in. Let's go. And you could tell that relationship really fucked with Leah because she never really did anything. She didn't have any relationships after that.
Her trust was
gone. And I think it was not only her trust in men, but her trust in herself and picking the right person, which we've all been there.
Is even more,
Because I think,
I've absolutely been there.
It took a lot, and I know you struggle with this. I'm telling all your business, but ain't that what we do? It took a lot for me to trust myself again after my failed marriage. And again, like the dude I married, he wasn't horrible. It's just it was a bad pick for me, And so I remember I was talking to my therapist and I was like fucking some dude. And I was telling her about it. And she was like, why are you telling me about this like you're asking permission? And I was like, shit. She was like, I trust your decision making. You sound like you know what you're doing, so just do it. But I kept saying, like, I would always tell her, I feel like I've done a really good job at building myself up. And I'm afraid to find someone that's going to come in and crash it down. And she was like, that's life. That's a risk you're taking.
Yes.
But at least you know how to rebuild. And I was like, ooh.
And she's also always quick. What she always tells me when I'm in them moments is like, okay, but you ain't by yourself no more. And you not being a fucking secret squirrel. So you got me to tell you that it's fucked up. You got Erica to tell you that it's fucked up. Like,
yeah.
That's why you got to speak up and talk about your stuff and not hide it, because then the folks who are around you can't help if you don't say nothing. Closed mouths don't get fed on this boulevard.
Oh, that was lit. Oh my God.
He's fucking nuts. Is
Okay, so Rock, Rock had a kid, right? He had a kid right before he went in. She was pregnant, and so he, ended up coming out, and he had this whole grown ass child, not grown, but this teenager that he just had
a teenager,
which was a teenager, which them little motherfuckers. Two, he was out of his life for this whole time, and it just shows how fucked up, like, how prison not only fucks up, like, just that person, but everyone in their wake. Initially, I was ready to hate Rock's baby mama. I was ready to hate her. And I also was like, oh, this is just so stereotypical, like, she keeping me from my baby, But thankfully, I was about to call her AR. A.S. Wilson wasn't so on the nose about it. And they did figure out their relationship. And it wasn't, it wasn't like,
wasn't easy.
And perfect.
Yeah.
She showed that, like, it takes a little bit of work on everybody's end to make, it's like to rebuild these relationships. I just, him having that son and like running it, because then he initially ran into him at the store.
In the grocery store. Yeah. He hadn't gone to see him yet. So that was,
It hurt my heart. It hurt my heart seeing it and all of that. But I was happy that he did say something to him.
And like, if it had been TV, he would have like ducked down behind the aisle and crawled out the store. Some
That's
bullshit.
exactly what I was expecting. But yes, you did it again. Yeah, I was definitely expecting to like running out, and he was just like, "Yo, like, I'm Papa." And I respected that. You could tell that Rock was like just a solid dude. You could tell that he was a solid dude that was just trying to make his way through. But I do like that you know how sometimes when people write stories about people that are, when writers write about like people that are supposed to be the hero in the story or the heroine, they're like completely faultless and perfect people.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't that. And, you know, although Rock went to jail and went to prison for something he did not commit, it wasn't like he was like, you know, some like upstanding, make no mistake angel when he came out. Like he was just a human trying to figure that shit out. And that's what I really, really liked about how she wrote Rock. There were some other characters in this story that I kind of want to touch on, but I can't because I've already given a spoiler that Kenrya made me cut out. So with that, I am going to wrap it up. And well, first, is there anything else you'd like to address, Killa?
No, except for, have you seen Two Gun Birdie yet?
No.
Bitch, I need you to watch the first episode of this second season.
I'll do it. I will certainly watch it.
I mean, it's us without the therapy.
Oh, shit. That, my dear, is scary.
Yes. Plus, I mean, there's some stuff at the end where, okay, that's not us. But, like, my partner was like, he kept pausing it and was like, y'all not getting checks? Like, it was, yeah. We watch it and then call me,
I'm going to, like, as soon as we finish this, I'm going to watch it because I have.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, a little bit of time. Okay.
So, now, we're watching shit. Our next segment is
What's Turning
Pay
Us
Some
On.
Bills. We'll be back.
Hey y'all, today's a great day to start your own podcast. Whether you're looking for a new marketing channel, have a message you want to share with the world, or just think it'd be fun to have your own show like us, podcasting is an easy, inexpensive, and fun way to expand your reach online. And Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch, promote, and track your podcast. Your show gets put online and listed in all the major podcast directories like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, literally everything, within minutes of finishing and uploading your recording. We use it here for the Turn On, and I can truly attest to the fact that it's pretty fucking dope. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, and the team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. So join over 100,000 podcasters like us who are already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Just click the link in our show notes and you'll be able to get your own account set up. And if you sign up for a paid plan, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card and support our show. Let's create something great together. Sign up for Buzzsprout today. All right.
Okay. Welcome back.
Yeah.
What you got for us, Killa? And
Oh, what's turning us on?
thank you. Okay. What you got?
Okay. So, as I was saying a couple weeks ago, I've been trying to find things that are different from what I already have in my thing.
In your thing.
So, this is...
I'm excited. After the pussy pump, like, really? Does it, like, come on.
So this is a double penetration toy. So, for those who can't see, it is purple silicone. It's got little things in it so you can change the angle.
Like a Barney arm.
Yes, it clicks. It's got, it has a vibe that goes in here, but I don't know where it is. It's not in there. It's very soft. So there's a lot of different, I didn't know this was a thing. I've used rings, cock rings before, with vibes on them just to add some extra stimulation, but I never got one that had something attached to it. For those who like to to have something anally while they're having, vaginal sex, using a plug can be tough because oftentimes they come out when you're in the middle.
One time I was using one. It was a little tiny one. That thing shot clear across the room like, boom.
I have absolutely experienced that.
Better that than in. Better out than in. But okay.
Yes. And so this one is never going in because it's got all this extra stuff. And so this goes on either another dildo or your partner. And then the whatever goes through here can go into a vaginal opening, and then this can go into your bum. And like I said, you can angle it and change it, whatever. So I like it. Mm-hmm. It's got like little ridges on it, whatever. Now, I will say that we weren't able to do a whole lot with this. So I got this. Yeah. So I got this particular one because it's got a lot of stretch to it. And what I saw when I was researching is that a lot of them, if your partner has any kind of size, that it'll be too tight and they won't be very comfortable, and nobody's going to have fun. So this one I got particularly because it's stretchy, but it's without training, because I'm not that talented. I can't just pop things on up in there.
Yeah.
So we only got so far with this. And so we are going to revisit after a little bit of prep so that we can have some more fun with it. Okay. But we still had enough fun with it that I wanted to share. Okay. Yes, it's promising. And I think that folks could probably have a lot of fun with this. Okay. If you enjoy the feeling of fullness while you're working with a partner or by yourself.
That's a beautiful way to put it. The feeling of fullness.
Yeah. And I mean, you could use this on your own along with a toy as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be for partner play. Yeah. So.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. Thank you, Kayla.
Mm-hmm. We'll throw a link up in the show notes.
Link, pictures, pictures of the toy, not of. Anyway.
I know.
Okay, y'all. I gotta go. I done too much. All right, so that has been this week's episode of The Turn On. Your two favorite hosts, Erica, Killa, make it a clap.
Bye. This episode was produced by us, Kenrya and Erica, and edited by Ballistic. The theme music is from Brazy. Hit subscribe right now in your favorite podcast app and at youtube.com/The Turn On Podcast so you'll never miss an episode.
Then follow us on Twitter at The Turn On Pod and Instagram at The Turn On Podcast. And you can find links to books, transcripts, guest info, what's turning us on, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com.
And don't forget to email us at theturnonpodcast@gmail.com with your book recommendations and your pressing sex and related questions.
And you can support the show by leaving us a 5-star review, buying some merch, or becoming a patron of the show. Just head to theturnonpodcast.com to make that happen.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Holla.